Here's your first challenge. Grace is 12 years old. Her brother is 4 years older than she is. In 6 years' time, what will be the sum of their ages? Take your time and see if you can figure it out before the timer ends. Time's up. Let's solve it together. Grace is 12 years old. Her brother is 4 years older than she is. So let's find out his age first. Add 4 to 12. That gives us 16 years. Now the question asks what their ages will be in 6 years' time. So add 6 years to both of their current ages. For Grace, we have 12 plus 6, which is 18 years. For her brother, we have 16 plus 6, which is 22 years. Now add their ages together. 18 plus 22 equals 40. So in 6 years' time, the sum of their ages will be 40 years. If you got that right, fantastic. Let's move on to the next question. Let's see if you can solve this one. The average of 8 numbers is 15. If 3 more numbers were added, the average became 16. What is the sum of the 3 numbers that were added? Think carefully. Can you figure it out before the timer ends? Time's up. Let's solve it together. Remember, the average of a group of numbers is the total of the numbers divided by the number of items. The average of 8 numbers is 15, so let's find the original total first. 8 multiplied by 15 gives us 120. Next, 3 more numbers were added. That means there are now 11 numbers altogether. The new average is 16, so multiply 11 by 16. That gives us 176. Finally, subtract the original total from the new total. 176 minus 120 equals 56. So the sum of the 3 numbers that were added is 56. Excellent work if you got it right. Get ready for the next challenge. Can you solve this geometric progression question? Which number comes next? 3, 6, 12, 24, 48? What is the next term? Think carefully and see if you can figure it out before the timer ends. This sequence is called a geometric progression. In a geometric progression, we multiply each term by the same number to get the next term. Let's find that number first. Look at the first 2 numbers in the sequence. The first number is 3, and the second number is 6. To find the common ratio, divide the second term by the first term. 6 divided by 3 equals 2. That means each number is multiplied by 2 to get the next one. So multiply 48 by 2. 48 times 2 equals 96. So the next term in the sequence is 96. Brilliant work if you got it right. Let's move on to the next challenge. Here's your next challenge. A shopkeeper bought a bag of rice for 24,000 naira and sold it for 27,600 naira. What percentage profit did the shopkeeper make? Take a moment and see if you can work it out before the timer ends. Let's calculate it step by step. To find the percentage profit, we first need to find the profit made. Subtract the cost price from the selling price. 27,600 naira minus 24,000 naira equals 3,600 naira. Now use the percentage profit formula. Divide the profit by the cost price, then multiply by 100. 3,600 divided by 24,000 equals 0.15. Multiply by 100 to get 15%. So the shopkeeper made a profit of 15%. Awesome work if you got it right. Let's see what the next challenge has in store. Think you can solve this one? A number is divided by 6. The quotient is 7, and the remainder is 5. What is the number? Think carefully and see if you can find the answer before the timer ends. Let's work this one out together. Whenever a number is divided, we can use this formula. The number is equal to the divisor multiplied by the quotient, then add the remainder. The divisor is 6, the quotient is 7, the remainder is 5. First, multiply 6 by 7. That gives us 42. Now add the remainder, which is 5. 42 plus 5 equals 47. So the number is 47. Excellent work if you got it right. Let's move on to the next challenge. Here's another brain teaser. A boy spends half of his money on a book. He then spends half of what is left on lunch. He has 60 naira remaining. How much money did he have at first? Take your time and see if you can figure it out before the timer ends. Let's solve this one by working backwards. The boy had 60 naira left after spending half of the money he had left on lunch. That means 60 naira is the half that remained. So before buying lunch, he must have had twice that amount. 60 times 2 equals 120 naira. Earlier, he had spent half of his money on a book. That means 120 naira was also half of what he had at first. Multiply 120 by 2. That gives us 240 naira. So the boy had 240 naira at first. Fantastic thinking if you got it right. Let's see what the next challenge brings. Let's put your math skills to the test. A ladder is placed against a wall. The foot of the ladder is 5 meters from the wall, and the top of the ladder reaches 12 meters up the wall. How long is the ladder? Think carefully. Can you solve it before the timer ends? Let's solve this one step by step. This question forms a right-angled triangle. The ladder is the longest side, so we'll use Pythagoras' theorem. The theorem says the square of the longest side equals the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Substitute the values. 5 squared is 25, and 12 squared is 144. Add them together. 25 plus 144 equals 169. Finally, find the square root of 169. The square root of 169 is 13. So the ladder is 13 meters long. Excellent work if you got it right. Let's tackle the next challenge. Time for another challenge. The fifth term of an arithmetic progression is 18. The first term is 6. What is the common difference? Take your time to solve this challenge. Let's work through this one together. For an arithmetic progression, we use the formula the nth term equals the first term plus, open bracket, n minus 1, close bracket, multiplied by the common difference. The fifth term is 18. The first term is 6. The common difference is what we want to find. Substitute the values into the formula. 18 equals 6 plus, open bracket, 5 minus 1, close bracket, multiplied by the common difference. 5 minus 1 is 4. So 18 equals 6 plus 4 times the common difference. Subtract 6 from both sides. That gives us 12 equals 4 times the common difference. Now divide both sides by 4. The common difference is 3. So the answer is 3. Fantastic effort if you got it right. Let's keep going. This one needs a little more thinking. Solve for x in x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. What are the values of x? Take your time and see if you can solve it before the timer ends. Let's solve this equation together. The expression can be factorized. We need two numbers whose product is 6 and whose sum is -5. Those numbers are -2 and -3. So we can write the equation as open bracket x minus 2, close bracket, multiplied by open bracket x minus 3, close bracket, equals 0. When the product of two brackets is 0, at least one of the brackets must be 0. First, let x minus 2 equal 0. Add 2 to both sides, so x equals 2. Next, let x minus 3 equal 0. Add 3 to both sides, so x equals 3. Therefore, the values of x are 2 and 3. Brilliant work if you got it right. Get ready for the next challenge. Here's a fun maths challenge. A sum of 12,000 naira is invested for 2 years and earns 1,200 naira as simple interest. What is the rate of interest per annum? Think carefully. Can you figure it out before the timer ends? Let's see the easiest way to solve this. For simple interest, we use the formula interest equals principal multiplied by rate multiplied by time, all divided by 100. The interest is 1,200 naira. The principal is 12,000 naira. The time is 2 years. The only unknown is the rate of interest. Substitute the values into the formula. 1,200 equals 12,000 multiplied by the rate multiplied by 2 divided by 100. Simplify the expression. This becomes 1,200 equals 240 times the rate. Now divide both sides by 240. The rate is 5. So the rate of simple interest is 5% per annum. Excellent work if you got it right. Let's move on to the next challenge. Let's see how quickly you can solve this. An arithmetic progression has a first term of 5 and a common difference of 4. Which term is 49? Take your time and see if you can figure it out before the timer ends.
Let's work through this one step by step. For an arithmetic progression, we use the formula the nth term equals the first term plus open bracket n minus 1, close bracket, multiplied by the common difference. The first term is 5. The common difference is 4. We are told that one of the terms is 49. So let the nth term be 49 and substitute the values into the formula. 49 equals 5 plus open bracket n minus 1, close bracket, multiplied by 4. Subtract 5 from both sides. That gives us 44 equals 4 multiplied by open bracket n minus 1, close bracket. Now divide both sides by 4. 11 equals n minus 1. Finally, add 1 to both sides. N equals 12. So 49 is the 12th term of the arithmetic progression. Fantastic effort if you got it right. Let's get ready for the next challenge.
Ready for another brain teaser? Grace plans to save 60,000 naira. She has already saved 24,000 naira. What percentage of her savings target has she achieved? Think carefully and see if you can work it out before the timer ends.
Here's how to get the correct answer. To find a percentage, divide the part by the whole, then multiply by 100. The amount Grace has already saved is 24,000 naira. Her savings target is 60,000 naira. So divide 24,000 by 60,000. That gives us 0.4. Now multiply 0.4 by 100. 0.4 times 100 equals 40%. So Grace has achieved 40% of her savings target. Awesome work if you got it right. Let's keep going.
Only a few more to go. A sum of money was invested at 10% simple interest per annum for 2 years. After 2 years, the interest earned was 3,000 naira. What was the original amount invested? Take your time and see if you can solve it before the timer ends.
Let's solve this one together. For simple interest, we use the formula interest equals principal multiplied by rate multiplied by time, all divided by 100. The interest is 3,000 naira. The rate is 10% per annum. The time is 2 years. This time, the principal is the unknown. Substitute the values into the formula. 3,000 equals the principal multiplied by 10 multiplied by 2, divided by 100. 10 multiplied by 2 is 20. 20 divided by 100 is 0.2. So 3,000 equals 0.2 multiplied by the principal. Now divide both sides by 0.2. The principal is 15,000 naira. So the original amount invested was 15,000 naira. Excellent work if you got it right. Let's head into the next challenge. Here's your next challenge. The third term of a geometric progression is 36. The common ratio is 3. What is the first term? Think carefully. Can you figure it out before the timer ends? Let's break this one down step by step. For a geometric progression, we use the formula. The nth term equals the first term multiplied by the common ratio raised to the power of n minus 1. The third term is 36. The common ratio is 3. The first term is what we want to find. Substitute the values into the formula. 36 equals the first term multiplied by 3 raised to the power of 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 equals 2. 3 squared is 9. So 36 equals 9 times the first term. Now divide both sides by 9. 36 divided by 9 equals 4. So the first term of the geometric progression is 4. Brilliant work if you got it right. One final challenge to go. Here's your final challenge. Give it your best shot. Simplify. 3, open bracket, 2x plus 5, close bracket, minus 4, open bracket, x minus 1, close bracket. What is your final answer? Let's finish strong by solving this together. To simplify this expression, we begin by expanding the brackets. Multiply 3 by each term inside the first bracket. 3 multiplied by 2x gives 6x. 3 multiplied by 5 gives 15. Now expand the second bracket. Multiply negative 4 by each term inside the bracket. Negative 4 multiplied by x gives negative 4x. Negative 4 multiplied by negative 1 gives positive 4. Now collect the like terms. 6x minus 4x equals 2x. 15 plus 4 equals 19. So the simplified expression is 2x plus 19. Congratulations if you got it right. You've completed today's challenge. See you in the next video.
Can you solve this question? The first term of an arithmetic progression is 5. The last term is 53. If the common difference is 4, how many terms are in the progression? Think carefully and see if you can figure it out before the timer ends. All right, let's break it down step by step. In an arithmetic progression, the difference between consecutive terms is always the same. This difference is called the common difference. To find the number of terms, we'll use the arithmetic progression formula. Now replace the letters with the values given in the question. Next, expand the bracket by multiplying 4 by each term inside the bracket. Now collect the like terms. 5 minus 4 equals 1. Subtract 1 from both sides of the equation. Then divide both sides by 4. So the value of n is 13. Excellent! Let's see what's next. Set A contains all even numbers greater than 4 but less than 18. Set B contains all multiples of 3 between 1 and 20. Which of the following represents A intersection B? Take a moment to work it out. Let's see how to solve this one. The first step is to write out the elements in each set. Set A contains all even numbers greater than 4 but less than 18. So, set A is 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. Set B contains all multiples of 3 between 1 and 20. So, set B is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. The intersection of two sets contains only the elements that appear in both sets. The common elements are 6 and 12. Therefore, A intersection B is the set containing 6 and 12. Nice work if you got that one right. Let's move on to the next challenge. A cashier was supposed to give a customer 1,250 naira as change. By mistake, the customer received 1,100 naira instead. What was the percentage error in the amount of change given? Give it a try before time runs out. Let's break this one down. To calculate percentage error, we divide the error by the correct value, then multiply by 100%. First, find the error by subtracting the amount received from the correct amount. 1,250 minus 1,100 equals 150. Next, divide 150 by 1,250. Next, multiply the result by 100%. This gives 12%. So, the percentage error is 12%. Great effort. Let's keep the challenge going. A sum of money was invested at 15% simple interest per annum for 4 years. At the end of the investment period, the total amount was 36,800 naira. What was the original amount invested? Take a moment to work it out. All right, let's work through this one. Remember, the total amount is equal to the principal plus the simple interest. We'll use the simple interest formula to find the interest. Now substitute the principal as P, the rate as 15%, and the time as 4 years. This gives us P multiplied by 15 multiplied by 4, all divided by 100. 15 multiplied by 4 is 60. So the expression becomes 60P divided by 100. 60 divided by 100 is 0.6. That means the interest is 0.6p. Now add the principal and the interest together. P plus 0.6p equals 1.6p. Since the total amount is 36,800 naira, we have 36,800 equals 1.6p. Finally, divide both sides by 1.6. The principal is 23,000 naira. Well done if you got that right. Let's see what's next. Each exterior angle of a regular polygon is 18 degrees. What is the sum of its interior angles? See if you can solve it before the timer ends. Let's see how to work this one out. The first thing to remember is that the sum of the exterior angles of any polygon is always 360 degrees. Since each exterior angle is 18 degrees, divide 360 by 18 to find the number of sides. 360 divided by 18 equals 20. Now that we know the polygon has 20 sides, we can find the sum of its interior angles. We'll use the formula open bracket n minus 2 close bracket multiplied by 180 degrees. Substitute 20 for n.
20 minus 2 equals 18. Finally, multiply 18 by 180 degrees. This gives 3,240 degrees. Excellent work if you got it right. Let's keep going. If 4x minus 3y equals 11 and x plus y equals 8, find the value of 2x plus y. Can you figure it out? All right, let's break it down. We'll start with the simpler equation because it's easier to make one of the variables the subject. From x plus y equals 8, subtract y from both sides. This gives x equals 8 minus y. Now replace x with 8 minus y in the first equation. Next, expand the bracket by multiplying 4 by each term inside it. Collect the like terms to get 32 minus 7y equals 11. Subtract 32 from both sides. Then divide both sides by negative 7 to find that y equals 3. Substitute y equals 3 back into x plus y equals 8. This gives x plus 3 equals 8, so x equals 5. Finally, substitute the values of x and y into 2x plus y. 2 multiplied by 5 plus 3 equals 13. So the value of 2x plus y is 13. Great job if you got it right. Let's move on to the next challenge. A cylindrical water tank is open at the top. It has a radius of 7 centimeters and a height of 12 centimeters. Find the total surface area of the tank. Take pi as 22 over 7. Give this one a try before the countdown ends. Let's work through this together. Notice that the tank is open at the top. That means we don't include the area of the top circle when finding the total surface area. We'll only calculate the curved surface area and the area of the base. The formula becomes 2 pi rh plus pi r squared. Now substitute pi as 22 over 7, the radius as 7 centimeters, and the height as 12 centimeters. The 7s cancel in both parts of the calculation, making it easier to simplify. 2 multiplied by 22 multiplied by 12 equals 528. Then 22 multiplied by 7 equals 154. Finally, add 528 and 154. This gives 682 square centimeters. So the total surface area of the tank is 682 square centimeters. Well done if you got it right. Let's keep the challenge going. The sum of the interior angles of a polygon is 2,160 degrees. If two sides of the polygon are removed, what will be the sum of the interior angles of the new polygon? Let's see if you can crack this one. Let's figure this one out. To find the sum of the interior angles of a polygon, we use the formula open bracket n minus 2 close bracket multiplied by 180 degrees. Substitute the given sum of 2,160 degrees into the formula. Next, divide both sides of the equation by 180. This gives n minus 2 equals 12. Now add 2 to both sides to find that the polygon originally had 14 sides. Since 2 sides are removed, the new polygon has 12 sides. Now use the same formula again, but this time substitute 12 for n. 12 minus 2 equals 10, and 10 multiplied by 180 equals 1,800 degrees. So the sum of the interior angles of the new polygon is 1,800 degrees. Excellent! You're doing great. Let's move on to the next challenge.
A rescue ladder 10 meters long is placed against a vertical wall. The foot of the ladder is 6 meters away from the wall. How high up the wall does the ladder reach? See if you can work it out before the countdown ends. Let's work through this one together. The wall, the ground, and the ladder form a right-angled triangle. Since we know 2 of the sides, we'll use Pythagoras' theorem. The ladder is the longest side of the triangle, so it is the hypotenuse. Now substitute the values into the formula. 10 squared is 100, and 6 squared is 36. So we have 100 equals 36 plus h squared. Subtract 36 from both sides of the equation. This gives 64 equals h squared. Now find the square root of both sides. The square root of 64 is 8. So the ladder reaches 8 meters up the wall. Fantastic if you got that right. Let's keep the challenge going. A television costs 180,000 naira. A buyer pays 30,000 naira as a deposit. The remaining balance attracts 20% simple interest per annum for 2 years. How much does the buyer pay altogether? Give this one your best shot. Let's work through this one. The first step is to find the remaining balance after the deposit is paid. Subtract 30,000 naira from 180,000 naira. This leaves a balance of 150,000 naira. Remember, the simple interest is calculated on the remaining balance, not on the original cost of the television. Substitute the principal as 150,000, the rate as 20%, and the time as 2 years. Let's divide 150,000 by 100. This gives 1,500. Now, multiply 1,500 by 20, then by 2. This gives a simple interest of 60,000 naira. Add the interest to the remaining balance to get 210,000 naira. Finally, add the 30,000 naira deposit. The buyer pays a total of 240,000 naira. Excellent work if you got it right. On to the next challenge. A rectangular storage box has a volume of 480 cubic centimeters. The length of the box is 12 centimeters and the height is 5 centimeters. Calculate the total surface area of the box. Think it through carefully. Let's work through this one. Before we can find the total surface area, we need to know all 3 dimensions of the box. The length and height are given, but the width is missing. We'll use the volume formula to find the width. Substitute the values into the formula. 12 multiplied by 5 equals 60, so we have 480 equals 60W. Now divide both sides by 60. This gives a width of 8 centimeters. Now that we know the length, width, and height, we can use the total surface area formula for a cuboid. Substitute the values into the formula. This gives 2 multiplied by the sum of 96, 60, and 40. Adding the values inside the bracket gives 196. Finally, 2 multiplied by 196 equals 392 square centimeters. The total surface area of the box is 392 square centimeters. Excellent work if you got it right. Let's move on to the next challenge. A rectangular swimming pool is 25 meters long and 10 meters wide. A walkway 2 meters wide is built around the outside of the pool. The pool has a depth of 1.5 meters. What is the area of the water surface inside the pool?
Let's test your brain a bit. Let's work through this one. This question includes some extra information to test whether you can identify what is actually needed. Since we're finding the area of the water surface inside the pool, we only need the length and the width of the pool. The walkway is outside the pool, so it doesn't affect the area of the water surface. The depth is also not needed because we're finding the surface area of the water, not the volume of the pool. Now, use the area formula for a rectangle. Multiply the length, 25 meters, by the width, 10 meters. 25 multiplied by 10 equals 250. So the area of the water surface inside the pool is 250 square meters. Brilliant! If you ignored the extra information and got the correct answer, you're thinking like a mathematician. Let's move on to the next challenge. The scores of 7 students in a test are 8, 12, 15, 15, 18, 20, and 1 missing score. If the mean score is 16, what is the missing score? See if you can figure it out. Let's work through this one together. Remember, the mean is calculated by dividing the total score by the number of students. This time, we already know the mean and the number of students, so we'll work backwards to find the total score. Multiply the mean, 16, by the 7 students. This gives a total score of 112. Now add the 6 known scores, 8 plus 12 plus 15 plus 15 plus 18 plus 20 equals 88. Finally, subtract 88 from 112. The missing score is 24. Excellent! If you got 24, you solved it perfectly. Let's move on to the next challenge. Think of a number. When the number is multiplied by 4 and then 7 is added, the result is the same as when the number is multiplied by 2 and 25 is added. What is the number? Can you figure it out before the countdown ends?
Let's solve this together. Since we don't know the number, let's represent it with the letter x. The question tells us that when the number is multiplied by 4 and 7 is added, the result is the same as when the number is multiplied by 2 and 25 is added. This gives the equation 4x plus 7 equals 2x plus 25. Now subtract 2x from both sides of the equation. This leaves 2x plus 7 equals 25. Next, subtract 7 from both sides. We get 2x equals 18. Finally, divide both sides by 2. The value of x is 9. Let's check our answer. 4 multiplied by 9 plus 7 equals 43. 2 multiplied by 9 plus 25 also equals 43. Both sides are equal, so our answer is correct. Fantastic work if you got it right. Let's finish strong with our final challenge. A number machine follows this rule. Multiply the input by 4, subtract 6, then divide by 2. If the output is 17, what was the input number? Let's see if you can work this out. Let's solve the final challenge together. Since we don't know the input, let's call it x. The machine first multiplies the input by 4, then subtracts 6, and finally divides the result by 2. We can write this as the equation 4x minus 6 divided by 2
equals 17. To remove the denominator, cross-multiply. This gives 4x minus 6 equals 34. Now add 6 to both sides. This gives 4x equals 40. Finally, divide both sides by 4. The input number is 10. Let's check our answer. 4 multiplied by 10 is 40. Subtract 6 to get 34. Then divide by 2. 34 divided by 2 is 17, which matches the given output. So the input number is 10. Congratulations on completing all 15 challenges. If you solved most of them, you're doing an amazing job. Keep practicing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next challenge.